Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is BestInSlot with a hopefully quick, but probably not, little video to talk about the book, the Dinosaur book that I am writing. Now, to give a little background on that, in case you missed the last video, I am writing a dinosaur book. Finally, I've started writing after months of procrastination. And if you missed the first video, what we did was I did a read-through of the very first chapter. It took about 20 minutes or so. I'll link that down below. If you haven't seen that already and you're interested, you should go check that out before watching the rest of this video. I'm going to assume you just went and did that. Okay, so there's a few things around that I want to talk about. I've actually finished the second chapter of the book just last night. I'm up to like 6,500 words now. 2 chapters done out of a probable 25 to 30. That's how it's planned out in my head. 25 to 30 chapters of around 3,000 words each. I'm not really a big planner when it comes to writing. I like to just write as it comes to me. It does tend to mean a much messier book and it will require more editing at the end. But if I sit down and plan every single aspect of the book, I will never actually write it. So this is just what works for me, basically. The first topic, the quicker topic, is basically, do you want more? Like, I could theoretically do a video tomorrow or next week, some point, reading out the second chapter. And I really like this idea of reading out these chapters and you guys talking about it in the comments down below and discussing what could happen next week, and kind of like a Let's Play series, but a book, sort of, you know, as I write it. And maybe you'd have to wait a week or two between videos, but, you know, you can talk about what's happening and then I can release the next one and people can go and read that, and I just need to know if there's any desire for that to happen. Some of my friends, whose opinions I do hold highly, have suggested that that would cannibalize potential sales. Now, there's a few reasons I'm not that worried about that, but again, I would like your opinions on that. For the start, the book is going to be so heavily edited between the final video I would potentially do and the final published form that I don't think that really matters that much anyway. Similarly, well, not really, personally I don't listen to many books, but I know if I did, I would listen to a book, like an audio reading of a book, in a very different scenario than I would read a book. You know, you're not going to sit on a plane probably and listen to a book because you can sit and read it, but if you're out for a drive, you'd listen to the book. I think it's a different thing. I don't think there's people who maybe listen to the audio recording of a book but wouldn't buy the paperback, if you know what I mean. I don't think that's really a thing. So that's why I'm a little less worried about it as well. But again, opinions would be fantastic. In terms of publishing and stuff, the idea is very much to self-publish on Amazon at the end of the book, probably. Like I said, this is probably at least a year away, given editing and such. But I think Amazon has a system wherein if people buy the paperback, it basically, they print and build the paperback, as long as you give them the right specifications, sort of on demand. Now, I don't know how that works, or I can definitely find other companies that do that, but I think it'd be such a cool thing to have on my bookcase. You guys have seen, I've got tons of books, but imagine having on the bookcase your book. You know, someone goes, oh yeah, what's that book about? Well, I wrote it, let me tell you about it. Even if it's not properly published or anything like that, just having a book that I wrote sitting on my bookcase, that's a pretty cool, that's a dream for sure. Obviously, the better version of that dream is to get published in a bookstore, but that is the much more optimistic version of that dream, shall we say. Getting published is just, it's a crapshoot, you know, it's so nigh on impossible. And sometimes it happens, then you get lucky, and I will try for it, but it seems unlikely. And hey, if I try for it and it works out, fantastic. If not, hey, self-publish. It is the age of self-publishing, so who really cares? Either way, I want to make sure you guys can get hold of it. So, like, the e-version will be cheap or whatever. Just make sure it gets to you guys who've supported me over the years. This is kind of partly for you, and that's kind of another reason to do it like that. I know it doesn't make total sense. You guys aren't really involved in the writing or the plotting per se, but you guys have been asking about this book for such a long time that I feel like, not that I owe it to you to sort of show it to you and build it with you, but that because you're such a big part of my life in so many ways, and like, if I didn't do YouTube, I probably wouldn't even have the time to write. If I had like a normal job, it would be a lot harder. And if I didn't have so many people so excited about dinosaurs in the comments and stuff like that, it would be harder to write. That I want you guys to be involved, even if only a little bit. And the idea of you following along chapter to chapter would be a nice way to do that. But hey, I'm here for opinions on that. The second thing, however, is that the book needs a title. If we're going to do these videos where we do chapter by chapter every week, I don't really want to call it I'm writing a dinosaur book, chapter 3. So, in order for us to get a title, you guys need to know a little bit about the plot. Now, like I say, I really haven't plotted this out at all. It's very, very, very basic right now. I've plotted out about 4 chapters out of the whole 30, so I've got a loose structure in my head, I've got some basic ideas, but really I like to just sort of fly by the seat of my pants basically when it comes to writing. But if you are totally worried about even the slightest spoilers, you should just click off the video now, or mute the video and let it keep playing, and that way I get more money basically. That'd be nice. So, right, I'm going to assume you've clicked off if you want to. Let's talk. I need a title, folks. I don't want it to be too specific. I was going to call it like From Bone or something. I don't really like that, but that's kind of the style I'm going for. Catchy and short-ish, and not like the forests of Ankahun Dinosaur Town. Not any of that kind of malarkey. It's not fantasy, it's a horror adventure. It's kind of what I'm aiming towards. I definitely want to amp up the horror. Those who've heard the first chapter, hopefully that's the impression you got. But to give you a basic plot premise, the main character is a middle-aged paleontologist, because of course he is, and he is specialising in the field of de-evolution, in reverse evolution, as in what they're doing right now with taking chickens and tweaking sort of hormones and genes during development so that they don't grow a beak, they grow a fairly dinosaur-esque mouth. And the idea is he's given this presentation and saying down the line maybe we'll be able to, in 30 years or so, breed our very first dinosaur from a chicken. You know, we'll go back to a non-avian dinosaur. And as we've seen in the prologue of the book, if you did hear the first chapter, we know that that's pretty much already happened. That somebody out there has already made this happen in the dinosaur that attacked Miguel Sousa, our character from the first chapter, who people really liked and wanted to be the main character, and unfortunately he's very dead. I'm so sorry, but he's exceptionally dead. I may have his corpse show up at some point, who knows. But basically a lot of the book, or like the first about 27 out of the 30 chapters, are going to take place in the Amazon rainforest. And inspired by things like Congo and Anaconda and Jurassic Park, we're going to head into the Amazon rainforest and it's all going to go to hell, obviously. So the idea I'm rolling with is that there's a facility in the Amazon rainforest. I really like the idea of like an old abandoned lab that's been taken over by time. Rainforests to me are very evocative and fantastic for imagery. And ever since I went to Costa Rica and Nicaragua and went backpacking and I explored the rainforests at night on my own, I just really wanted to set something in a rainforest. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah. So there's this old lab and this facility, and they've managed to basically speed up this de-evolution process by 30 years or so via mutations, and I don't know, I've not really got that plot point nailed down yet, but they've figured out a way to do it. They've sped up the process of de-evolution. Which I think is actually a completely unique way of getting dinosaurs back into the world in terms of modern literature. I don't think anyone else has done it yet, so I was quite happy with that. Anyways, so they brought dinosaurs back, basically. So this team is going to recruit our main character as the paleontologist to come into the jungle with them on what he believes is a rescue mission / reconnaissance / just sort of observation. Basically, they're saying, we've built these dinosaurs, we need someone who's an expert. We're going to go in and we're going to rescue this guy. We need you there to look after the stuff, right? And it turns out maybe the people who hired him aren't on the up and up. Maybe they're a little bit dodgy. Maybe there's some betrayals down the line. You never know. But that's the basic premise. And this team, this little squad, just imagine Anaconda, Jurassic Park, blah, blah. Congo. Imagine Congo. Congo was actually my main inspiration. Congo is fantastic, by the way. They head into the jungle. They get chased by dinosaurs. They beat up dinosaurs. They find a lab. Big thing about the lab and some other extra little secrets I've got planned, and maybe some people blow up at the end, who knows. But that's the basic premise. There really isn't, everything past there is going to be things that come to me as I'm writing, you know? It's not particularly deep writing in some ways. I do have a theme which I'm not going to mention. Hopefully you guys are going to pick that up from the writing itself. A theme that's very important to me, a theme that's very personal and sort of one of the only themes I would ever consider putting in my writing in the first place. I'm going to very subtly try to integrate it, but there is a theme there. And like a message, shall we say. And yeah, I can't really give you any more information, but dinosaurs, Amazon rainforest, secret lab experiments, roll with it, guys. Any suggestions would be fantastic. This video has already gone on about 8 minutes longer than I planned, so I am going to end it there. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you in advance for all the comments and stuff down below. 2 questions to ask. Do we keep doing audio readings? And what do you want to see for a title? And I really don't have any ideas myself, so I am more than open to ideas at this point in time. Thank you for joining me, cheers, much love, as always, bye-bye.